Hey, I'm Brad, and welcome back to Overkill Reviews. I know my last review was about Converge, and I probably talked about them a little bit too much, so I'm going to start out this week with more Converge. That huge, all-encompassing, career-spanning piece that I talked about before I did that review, well, it's out now, and it's just under 8,600 words. I spent a lot of time and lost a lot of sleep over that article, so it would mean the world to me if you would go into the description below and click on it and read preferably all of it, but I'll take like half. And while you're down there in the description, don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so there's never enough Converge, there's never enough subscriptions, but for now, we're gonna move on. Check out this week's band.
They put the wires to my head. All the needles they chopped. It won't shut off, around the clock they said, how do you live like that?
So you might have recognized some of the band members in that clip, and I'll get to that in a second. But for now, what you need to know is that I'm reviewing the new one from Sect, No Cure for Death, out today on Southern Lord Records. You may remember our Canadian metal Lockhorns episode. Well, when I put up my legend, it was significantly longer than everyone else's. That's because I chose Chris Colohan, who sang in bands such as Cursed, Left for Dead, The Swarm, Ruination, Countdown to Oblivion, Burning Love, and now Sect. The band was revealed last year, and this is already their second studio album. I was super excited when they were announced just because I'm a fan of Chris's voice and pretty much every other band that the other guys have all been in. Rounding out the lineup, we have members of Catharsis, Undying, Earth Crisis, Path of Resistance, Day of Suffering, and Fall Out Boy? Yep, the drummer here is Andy Hurley, who plays in Fall Out Boy, but for those who don't know, he's also played in a lot of killer metal and hardcore bands, such as Race Trader, Kill the Slave Master, Vegan Reich, he's filled in for Earth Crisis, he's played in Focused Minds, the list goes on. If you want to learn more about the drummer of Fall Out Boy and his history with heavy music, I just did an interview on aggressive tendencies. So Sect is a vegan straight edge band, which is near and dear to my heart, but I know there's at least one commenter who really hates when my reviews get political. Well, sorry buddy, you're probably going to want to hit the pause button right now. When Chris is singing and the band has those convictions, shit's going to get political, and I kind of can't avoid it. I'm going to kick off with the opening song on the album, which I had the honor of premiering through Exclaim not too long ago. This is Open Grave.
The cave, the wet, the warning signs. Canary was dust, but the mind was running on double time. Pull down the alarm, throw out the bright line. Gay reflex override. Eyes so shut, mouth open wide.
What a way to kick off the album. I really love well-placed feedback because it really just ups the aggression. And I'm a huge fan of the symbolism of the line, they came and went, the warning signs. The canary was dust, but the mine was running on double time. In case that flew over your head, we're talking about literal canaries in literal mines. Like miners would bring the canaries in a cage so that if there was dangerous gas, it would kill the canary first and they could escape and nobody dies. Well, the canary dies. Sorry, pal. Metaphors aside, this song is really about apathy and the consequences of that. You know, it's about the world going down the shitter while we're all paying attention to the Kardashians. Next up, we've got your AntiChristian song, but it's not just some blind denouncement. Check it out.
Come down off the cross. Get down and rise. Fall to your script, to your scripture. Preach your life, worship in death. Legislate to dominate. Cause your mantras got nothing left outside the light. Black hole of selective conscience. All bodies were yours. And the line to blame, shame, crush and control.
Hurley's drumming here is really sweet. I love the back and forth between the blast beat and the more punky rhythms. And in that second section, the palm muted parts between each bit is really fucking heavy. It's kind of understated because of the production, it's kind of buried there a little bit, which makes it all the more rewarding when you hear it and you really begin to process what's happening. I'm also a big fan of the line, legislate to dominate, because your mantra's got nothing left. What I take away from that is that, you know, there's nothing left in the mantra, meaning people are moving away from religion. It's not really offering them anything fresh or new that they need anymore. But at the same time, these lawmakers, these people in the positions of power, are turning these beliefs into legislature before everybody jumps ship, and now you're kind of stuck with them whether you believe or not. Back to the music. In this next clip, we've got another riff that's a little bit understated, thanks to the chainsaw-esque guitar tones. And by the way, when I say understated, that's not a bad thing.
Crocodile prayers carry the full storm and beyond. Dig a grave for them, hypothetical. Loss of inventory, loss of capital.
The opening part and the guitar tone in general here just kind of reminds me of Mammoth Grinder. And the second half has a little bit of a groove going on, which I haven't really shown you from the band yet. It's been pretty consistently blast beats and just fast in general. And on that groove part, I really love how the drums come in off time at first, and then on the second time through, they kind of meet up for more traditional beat. I want to touch on a little bit more of the message behind the music here. I'm going to read you two parts of the lyrics from this song, but I'm going to break in between just to kind of talk about them. So, the first part. We know what you do when they make it out of the womb, the wrong color, sex, or gender, wrong class, opinion, or culture. I'm not trying to bum anyone out here. I'm not anti-Christian. My parents are Christian. I was raised Christian. A lot of Christian people stepped in when my mom was sick or whatever and made meals for our family. And sometimes they were really good. And then other times just made me realize that God did not bless everyone with talent in the kitchen. Me neither, but I'm not cooking for other people. Point is, I'm not taking this lyric as some black metal, burn all the churches and stab the Virgin Mary bullshit or whatever. I'm taking it as some people use their faith to justify hatred and bigotry. And they further that message with this next line, which has some awesome imagery. Crocodile prayers carried to full term and beyond. Crocodile prayers, very obviously a play off crocodile tears, you know, fake tears to get sympathy. These are fake prayers to make it seem like you care. And the carried to full term and beyond bit, well, that's a clever little reference to something that religious leaders and, quite frankly, myself as a male have no business discussing or determining. So I'm just going to leave it at that, and we're going to move on to the next song. I'm vegan. All right. Let me preface this by saying that in my Exhumed video, when I said that I'm vegan and people were like, oh, of course the vegan's gonna say that he's vegan, that was me talking to the people in the studio. I didn't even know it was gonna be in the video, so shut up about the vegan is gonna tell you that he's vegan bit. Well, you can talk about it again because I'm gonna tell you I'm vegan, and I'm gonna talk about the vegan song on the album, and yeah, I'm vegan. Vegan. So, the chugging opening is super cool, and despite how much I like it, I really like how it only lasts a couple seconds before going faster, because it makes you crave it more. And in the middle of that clip, the transition riff is really sinister, kind of orally capturing the message of this song. It's about the fact that dairy companies are kind of running the milk alternative market by coming out with their own products, funneling the money back into their own company, that, you know, meat companies and McDonald's are coming out with vegan options, not instead of, you know, the regular hamburgers, but in addition to them, so that they can tap into that market and get some of the money out of that market. It's about the depoliticization. It's about removing the politics from veganism and people just doing it because it's a fad. And when something's a fad, it's not gonna last. As Chris told me, I asked him about this song, and he told me, I don't want veganism to be remembered as the 6 months that somebody bought vegan Hellmann's mayo from the fucking Walmart instead of the regular mayo. I'm gonna end this review with my take on the final song, Avoidance Ritual. I had to play this song because it shows a different side of the band, one that's more concerned with groove and even a little bit of melody rather than, you know, beating you over the head with blast beats and like dark, blackened, metallic, hardcore riffs. It sounds like Sect's take on noise rock, but channeled through an HM2 pedal, and it's a neat way to end the album. One thing that I haven't mentioned yet is that this album is just under 17 minutes, so it's really short. And at first I was like, 17 minutes, that's really not long enough for an album. But when I was doing my prep for our 5 reviews we missed, all of those albums were long. And it made me appreciate this one that much more. There's no filler. It's, you know, as Sum 41 said, with the first CD I ever bought, all killer, no filler. I feel that this is an important album to come out now. It makes a lot of salient points about the world. You know, in addition to the songs that I mentioned, there's one that talks about how slavery never went away. It kind of just shifted into becoming the prison system. There's songs about drug abuse. It's a lot of important messages that people might need to hear. And I actually talked to Andy about this when I interviewed him, about the fact that his influence being in a band like Fall Out Boy has maybe reached some kids who otherwise might not hear about these political issues that, you know, even if you don't agree with them, it's always good to be educated about what's going on in the world. So I think it's really cool that a band like this is doing music that can be well respected in both metal and hardcore, but also might reach people who don't traditionally know this stuff exists. It's a solid album made by a lot of guys who have made a lot of solid albums, and I'm excited to see where they go next. For now, I'm giving this one 4 out of 5 skulls on Overkill Reviews. Don't forget to subscribe and head to BangerTV.com to leave your own skull rating. And remember, if you don't like politics and you're giving this album a low score because you don't agree with the bands, that's a political decision too.
The game, the way